Greetings once again, pirates on the high seas. Duuz-Diz-Din back once again with another chapter of One Piece, where previously, the countdown to Vegapunk's broadcast has hit the 7 minutes till execution mark. The 5 elders have all assembled, summoned by Saturn, in order to help out to stop the broadcast, all arriving in full Zoan form, and we're finally informed of what they all are. Saturn, the Gyuki, an ox spider, Mars, Itsumade, a reptilian bird, Workery, the Fengji, a 4-tusked boar, Venus Jiro, the Bakotsu, a skeletal horse, and Jupiter, a sandworm. Nushiro partially transforms himself and goes running along the coast, incapacitating the pacifistas, using a combination of both observation and armament hockey, as well as some kind of freezing technique, in order to only freeze over the circuits of the pacifista to shut them down, a technique very similar to what Brook usually does. Meanwhile, Vice Admiral Doberman orders the other Marines to target Jewelry Bonnie, as taking her out will also help to stop the pacifistas, as well as any future things involving her. Meanwhile, Mars flies up to the Labophage and rams into the Frontier Dome, and given the healing abilities we've seen from Saturn, if Mars has that as well, and hell, even given how Luffy was able to force his way through the Frontier Dome as well, it's only a matter of time before Mars makes his way through as well. Sanji, seeing all of the devastation, calls out to the Straw Hats in the Labophage, telling them to run away as quickly as possible. We see that Usopp was able to stop the Thousand Sunny from sliding off the end of the Labophage using his pop green, so Brook and Lilith are with the group as Usopp receives Sanji's message, although the Frontier Dome is still active. He's like, how do we get out? We then cut over to the fight between Zoro and Lucci, with both noting the immense haki coming off of the 5 elders. All the while, Luffy is still confronting Saturn, Workery, and Jupiter, with Jupiter taking the opportunity to try to swallow Luffy, only to be decapitated by Dory and Brogy, arriving just in time and reliving a classic of when Dory cut Luffy out of that Brontosaurus. The odds have taken an odder turn, and it's getting harder and harder to tell who has the edge in this fight. The tide could turn in anyone's favor, so whose will it be? Join me as I find out, won't you? This is an adorable cover page. Although, why jellyfish and fry? They're eating the fries like popcorn, too. Of course, Sanji cooking them up. I love the fact that we have Kuma there in his original orange shirt. That was supposed to be his original color scheme. I love how we have the non-stabbed Vegapunk seemingly hanging out with Frankie. Now, this is the first cover page to actually just have Bonnie in her child form and treating it more like her regular form. And it makes sense that she would be hanging out with Nami and Chopper because, Nami's very sweet on young kids. Oh, based on a reader request, the Straw Hat strolling through the deep sea using jellyfish umbrellas. I feel like this is a bit different from what this person had in mind. Alright, chapter 1111. Sun Shield. Sounds like a technique Dory and Brogy would use. So we see that after Mars crashed into the Frontier Dome, he has managed to force his way through seemingly unscathed. Jinbei, he spots Mars like, the heck? And Jinbei notes, what is that thing? Such preposterous hockey! He then makes his way over to where Zoro is, saying, Zoro, are you done? Let's go! Said the fan base. Zoro, huffing and puffing, says, Jinbei, not yet. Takes his sword out of his mouth, and we see, despite the wounds Zoro inflicted on Lucci, he is still upright. Gee, now for all the people who kept saying Zoro needs to finish this, like, Lucci is just tanking it. I mean, granted, it still hit him hard, but and Lucci is just ready to go. Jesus, I gotta give it to the tenacity of Rob Lucci, if nothing else. Zoro says he's still standing. Lucci readies himself to go back in again, but Sanji radios in to Jinbei saying, did you get him yet, Jinbei? Jinbei says, I'll do it now. Jinbei grabs a hold of Zoro, saying, yeah, we're not doing this again. Let's go, Zoro. You won the fight. He then says, Fishman Karate. Sorry about this, Rob Lucci. 5,000 brick, chop! Jinbei creates enough of a gust of wind to kick up enough of a smoke screen so they can just bail out. Lucci, who takes a knee, transforms back into his human state, and then Marcus Mars comes flying overhead of Rob Lucci saying, Cypher Pool, ages 0. Rob Lucci, where is York? And Lucci is just completely stunned by what he's seeing. I have never seen that level of fear in Rob Lucci's eyes. I love how Jinbei is ferrying Zoro away on his back. You gotta love how the bigger characters do that for the smaller characters, acting as actual transports. Jinbei says, gotta hurry, while Zoro's looking back at Mars saying, hey, what is that thing? Lucci says York is still tied up in the command room on the 4th floor of Building A. Currently on the loose are the 2 who just escaped, Roronoa Zoro and Jinbei, first son of the sea, 5 other members of the Straw Hat crew, and 2 Vegapunk. He holds up his black Denden Mushi, preparing to escape from the back exit of the labophage. There are 85 other Cypherpole agents and 4 Seraphim in the basement of the lab. Let's see, that really does explain why Lucci was still so involved with this. It's like he's the greatest source of information. Vegapunk's message resumes in 6 minutes. Oh, we see Hattori flying in. Mars says, well done. No further questions. But as Mars takes off, Lucci says, wait, my partner is still gravely wounded in the command room. Aw, he cares for Kaku. Please spare his life. Mars simply says, that may not be possible. One does not attempt to step on insects. It simply happened. That's his way of saying, well, if your partner's really unlucky, it is what it is, buddy. And that's the most caring thing Lucci has ever said. But considering how, back in the day, Lucci's group helped get him out of harm's way, it makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, Luffy has his reunion with Dory and Brogy, as he says, I can't believe it's been 2 years. Good to see you again, Giants again. Dory says, and you, Straw Hat. I almost didn't recognize you. And Brogy says, Gababab, how do you know the form of the gods spoken of in Elbaf? Luffy questions, huh? Brogy says, your outfit, it pleases us greatly. Gababababababab. So there's imagery in Elbaf that depicts Joy Boy in this form. Makes sense. They just think Luffy's dressed up? That's actually kind of funny. They think he's honoring their god. Luffy says, I don't know what you mean, but we can talk later. Warkiri says, giant, while Saturn says, a bad combination. The giants then take notice of Warkiri and Saturn, with Dory saying, look at these colossal beasts. They look like they came from Elbaf's forest. But Luffy says, but we don't want to fight them guys. We need to run away. Wow, Luffy's left like, yeah, nah. We need to get out of here. Luffy's straight up like, nah, bail. I've been fighting these guys for way too long. One of them was already enough of a pain in the butt. I don't feel like dealing with more. Dory says, we're already aware. We saw Sanji earlier. Oh, they passed by Sanji. I'm like, wait, what? It took me a second to process that. I'm like, wait, when did you run into Sanji? Brogy says, he said if you see Luffy, tell him to run around the back of the island. And we have a flashback to Sanji carrying Vegapunk, moving past Dory and Brogy saying, I'm counting on you, Dory and Brogy. And Brogy says, you bet, let's meet up later. We saw the story in the newspaper and came to help you escape. And we have a layout of everything that needs to be done. We have Nami and Usopp's group, who's trying to make their way off of the labophage. We have Luffy's location where he's with Dory and Brogy. You have Sanji and Vegapunk who are a little further ahead. And then Bonnie and Frankie who are almost at the Elbaf ship, which is their goal. Dory says it said you were surrounded by the Navy. He then pulls out a horn and blows. I guess it's to signal that they found Luffy. Oof, that's a mighty bellow. And the giants hear Dory's horn. They say, huh? That's the captains. They found Straw Hat. Back to the ship. Prepare to withdraw. All we have to do is take them and leave. Don't bother attacking the battleships. They don't have any treasure. No doubt about that. Yeah. Well, the Marines can only look on in shock, saying, damn it. However, Warkiri, hearing what they've said, says, An escape signal? We can't have that. I'll sound a warning of my own then. Dory and Brogy go, huh? Workery says, a warning not to escape. And this really catches Luffy's attention as Workery lets out a massive roar, just resounding with hockey that just echoes throughout Egghead. Man, I said that Dory's horn was a mighty bellow, but Jesus, like just the roar alone puts Dory, Brogy, Luffy all on their guard. Gee, and it shakes the entirety of Egghead. And that big mouth ain't for show. Oh my god, what the hell? This bellow knocks off Luffy's eyes, hat, scars, sandals, and the little poofy parts of his pants, as well as his belt. What the hell? Did the cry do damage? And as the roar echoes throughout Eggheads, it gets all the way to the marine ship. As they say, the island is pulsating again, and some of the Marines are passing out from the burst of hockey. Jeez. Dory and Brogy try to shield Luffy, with Brogy saying, "Are you alright, Straw Hat?" Dory says, "Got enough parts there? What a funny body you've got. Gag, 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 gag." That's their only comment. And we have Luffy putting back on his parts, like his scar on his chest, and he has the one for his face in his hand. Oh my god. Though their attention turns back to Workery as Dory says, "A color of the Supreme King roar." Oh god, they've all got Conqueror's hockey, don't they? Of course they do. Of course they do. Oh my god, is it just Workery? Because I don't think Saturn has used Conqueror's hockey. Or maybe he just hasn't bothered. I love the fact that previously in the last chapter, people commented on the fact that, man, Workery's just hanging back chilling. It's just like, no. Workery decided to start putting in the work. Putting the war in Workery. Dory says, "The color of the Supreme King roar." While Brogy questions, "Who is that guy?" Luffy says, "Some bossy guy in the world government." Well, at least he knows that much. Holy crap, suddenly Workery just flips up into the air, bearing down on Dory and Brogy. It freaks out Luffy. Dory calls out to Brogy, and Brogy says, "Ready!" And the two frontmost tusks of Workery turn into blades? Oh my god. But before it can slam down on them, Dory and Brogy block with Svalin Sunshield. Svalin Sunshield. As Workery clashes with the giant, he calls out to the two saying, "We have much to settle with your kind. Do you even know who that is?" Brogy says, "Of course we do." And both of them answer, "He's a friend!" With Brogy going, "Ga ba 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 ba," and Dory going, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." They then repel Workery with force of their shields using Skilja Split. Skilja Split. Gotta love all the named attacks they have. Workery is knocked back, but Saturn is there waiting in the wings, as he says, "And he must be crushed before you call him something else." Oh. Saturn inhales and says, "Eradicated from the historical record." Oh, is he spitting poison at them? He fires a volley of, poisonous blobs at Dory and Brogy and Luffy. Luffy, probably using future sight, says, "Watch out! That's gonna be poison." Oh my god, what the hell? He then grabs a nearby tree, uproots it, uses his teeth to gnaw it into a bat. Where did he get the paint? He then paints it into a bat with the number 56 on it as well, and then summons a hat out of his hair, I guess, with the number 56 on it too. Wheels back and knocks all the poison balls back as he laughs, saying, "Ha ha ha, how do you like a taste of your own poison?" Oh my god. And as the Glorbs approach Saturn and Workery, they then explode. That causes Luffy to freak out, saying, "What? They exploded?" Some of the other giants call out to Dory and Brogy, saying, "Captains, the flames are going to block off the forest." Dory says, "Let's get moving." Well, Brogy's just laughing, saying, "You blew them to bits." But Luffy, with a very serious look, says, let's hurry. This won't matter. They're immortal. And you see the forms of Saturn, Mercury, and Jupiter all reforming through the flames in their shadowy form. And, yep, sure enough, Dorian, Brogy, and Luffy beat feet out of there. Although I love that they're laughing all the way. Dory saying, keep running? How can they be immortal? Luffy says, I don't know, but they keep coming back no matter what you do. Brogy says, I never heard of any such power or race. Best to run then. Meanwhile, back up in the labophage, Usopp is commanding Lilith, Brook, and Chopper to do something to the Sunny? Are they like trying to turn it? I'm not really sure what they're doing to it, but Nami radios in saying, Jinbei, Zoro, hurry up. Jinbei tells her, we're on our way. While he's still carrying Zoro, we see Jinbei dashing through the forest saying, I think it's faster just to run. Really? Let it never be said that Jinbei's slow on his feet. Meanwhile, with Bonnie and Frankie, who is being carried by the giants as they're making their way to the giant ship, Bonnie calls out, look, in front of the ship. We see the other vice admirals blocking their path, with Red King saying, you're not getting on that boat, Jewelry Bonnie. You also see Sanji making his way with Vegapunk, while Mars has made his way to York, busting through the roof saying, where's the room on the monitor? York freaks out saying, monster! It talked! Who are you? Go away! York, you better answer swiftly. Meanwhile, back on the ship that Kizaru was knocked into, someone calls out, Kizaru, show us your wounds. Let us help you. Kizaru, with his arm over his eyes, is still lying back saying, am I wounded? Yes, deeply wounded. They call out, then we should act fast. Kizaru says, just let me rest. Yeah. So some people are just like, Kizaru got knocked the fuck out. It's like, no, not really. He just doesn't want to be involved anymore. It's just like, look, man, I friggin' stabbed one of my closest friends. Can I just be done? He's gonna die. There's no way he's living through this. Just let me be done. Oh. And we see it in the shadows. The Iron Giant is on the move as the Marines who see it call out over the radio, urgent report. Something far larger than even the giants has appeared on the island. Was the Iron Giant bigger than the rest of the giants? I don't know. From my perspective, it looked about the same size as Dory and Brogy, but it's even bigger? Reporting from the northwest coast of Egghead. They call out, it's unaffected by the flames. The gargantuan creature is standing in the flames and groaning about something. And the Iron Giant thinks, sorry, Joy Boy. So it's more than just a robot? It's interesting that there's so many apologies from that time frame. Those who are apologizing to Joy Boy apologizing to others. Man, it's going to be interesting once we finally gain some information about what's going on there. It's funny too because so many people thought that Mars was going to face off against someone, but Mars is not regarding anybody. He's just trying to find where that broadcast is coming from to shut it down. I can't wait to find out people's reaction to Lucci managing to somewhat tank Zoro's a hit. Lucci just needs a minute and then he'll probably be back in the fight. Man, so we're at the 6-minute mark. It's only a minute has passed. Oh god. I do appreciate that Lucci at least was like, please, spare Kaku. What about the other Cypher Pole agents? What other Cypher Pole agents? We still don't know where Stussy is. We have not seen Stussy in a hot long minute. And man, Luffy teaming up with Dory and Brogy, I don't know, it feels like no time has passed at all. Given the extreme change in circumstances and power levels, it should be weird to have them working together, but it's just hanging out with Dory and Brogy again. We've done that more than the one time. I do have to wonder, is it just Mercury who has the color of armament? Color of the Supreme King Haki? Or is it all of them? And I doubt the elders are truly immortal. It'd be interesting if they are. That would mean that we really have to find another way of taking them down, because they don't even seem to be exhausted. Despite everything that Saturn has been through, he has shown no signs of slowing down. Like, I get it, people want to mock, it's just like, he keeps getting batted away. Yeah, but he keeps coming back. It's the same thing when you fight Luffy. It's just like, God, how many times do I have to keep knocking you down? Shoot, you think they were made of rubber? And we have 3 vice admirals gunning for Bonnie. I mean, the giant should be strong enough to take him on, right? I mean, Brogy took one of them out fairly easily. But then again, he caught him off guard. I really wonder what that Iron Giant's gonna end up doing. With the thought process, obviously an ally, but I have to wonder if there's more to it than that. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.